Hello, welcome to Coffee Break. It's Steve Barrett here, the editorial director of PR Week. Welcome to another show. We've got Steve Hirsch with us this week, who's the CEO and co-founder of Hirsch Leatherwood, a new agency. So, Steve, welcome to Coffee Break. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for having me, Steve. Happy to be here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. So, tell us a bit about the firm. You set it up with your partner, both former SJR and H&K agency execs, and about 18 months you decided to go out on your own and set your own thing up. So tell us why you did that and what the offer is over at Hirsch Leatherwood.
Yeah, absolutely. So about 18 months ago, as you mentioned, Evan and I split off from our WPP world with the idea being we wanted to create a team of generalists that were a little bit more versatile, a little bit more agile than your average communications team. My background is largely in media relations and PR. Evan's background was more content thought leadership. And our idea was, what if you could have a small team of nimble, versatile generalists who could all create strategy, all develop content, and all play stories. So no matter who your account team is at Hirsch Leatherwood, everyone's able to do all of those things, and that cuts down on it creates efficiencies within the product. It creates a little bit more value for the end product, and also keeps employees a little bit more engaged from day to day. So yeah, that's the idea.
And now SJR was obviously very focused on content. It was kind of a split. It split off from H&K, didn't it? And with a very specific offer. Are you doing similar things to that, and just giving it your own take?
Yeah, it's not dissimilar from maybe the marriage that H&K and SJR could have had. It's effectively we've as media relations and content become equally weighted as important for communications teams, we think agencies need to mirror that reality. The agencies that I largely grew up were big media relations teams with small, tiny add-on content teams. And the reality is you need that big content team to generate the kind of awareness that brands are looking for today, with traditional PR still playing an extraordinarily important role, but it's more of a credibility role versus an awareness role. And so we've built our team to reflect that.
You started up right in the bang smack in the middle of COVID. How was that? Did you have a physical space? Were you all working virtually to start with? And what's your sort of vision for the future in terms of working together and the future of work and how the agency will exist?
Yeah, we started remotely, which was certainly had its own challenges. About 6 months ago, we opened up our New York office in Midtown, which is great. We have a few people that are working remotely throughout the country, and we'll continue to certainly first and foremost hire the people that are the best talent. If they happen to be in New York, that's great. If they happen to be somewhere else, that's fine too. We're really all about just investing in the best talent that we can find. And yeah, we're going to do a little bit of experimenting. This week, we're starting a new Summer Friday policy where half our team will have every other Friday off. So we'll see if that hopefully reduces burnout. I think it could create some more efficiencies throughout the week. And no, I'm excited for the potential benefits that it has. And, as far as the future of work, this industry is changing. PR, the service that PR and communications firms have for brands is changing. And we're going to continue to experiment and integrating different kinds of programs just to make sure we can get the most out of our team that we can.
Agencies are trying all sorts of things. Obviously, talent, it's a talent business, it's a people business. You want to hire the best and keep the best, but we've seen the big resignation. We've seen turnover rates in our agency business report of 40% in some places, even more. What are your thoughts on that? Have you thought of, we've seen other agencies, for example, trying a 4-day working week. Everyone's trying to be different, but what's your take on it as someone who's starting from scratch? Really, you don't have to turn around a big tanker that's got lots of ingrained habits. So how are you thinking about that?
I think most importantly, at the end of the day, you need to set yourself up in a way where no matter what time of the day or week a client is contacting the agency, there needs to be someone stationed there to meet that need and request. So when it comes to things like a 4-day work week, that will certainly be something that we want to try on a rolling out basis. I think ultimately the idea of agencies completely shutting down 20% of the week, that might still be a longer way away, but certainly coming up with different arrangements and schedules to get staff just more regular time off, and more regular just space in their brain to de-stress a little bit. When you're working on 4, 5, 6 accounts, as many people in agencies are, things can get very cluttered very quickly. And we actually, earlier in the year, when we had a couple of mental health days that we gave to the firm, we actually even saw in those weeks just after the difference in energy, capacity, bandwidth, and all of that people had when coming back. And I think if you do that on a recurring basis, you give people a little bit more time to recharge, that the long-term benefit is quite valuable.
One thing I keep hearing at the moment is empathy hours. So I'm not sure what that involves, but it sounds another variation on that theme. And you're right, mental health and avoiding burnout is crucial, isn't it? But when you put it like that, 20% of the week, that's a good point, because a client's going to look at it and say, well, hang on, you're only working 4 days a week. Maybe I should cut the fees by 20% or something like that, And sometimes the clients must look at their agencies and think, God, which world are they living in? Where everybody else is doing 5 days and working hard every day of the week. So that's a good perspective that you're bringing up there. What about the type of work you're doing, type of clients you've got? I know you have some thoughts on the tech scene down in Miami, the really fast-growing scene that's very interesting. And talk us through that a little bit.
Largely, you'll find us in tech, media, finance, healthcare. We're relatively industry agnostic, but those are the spaces you'll see us show up most in. As far as Miami, yeah, we have definitely seen a bit of an explosion down there, which I'm sure others have noticed too. Even when the companies aren't necessarily based in Miami, I would say a lot of our client contacts tend to be in Miami these days. It used to be for a couple of years, I was flying out to San Francisco every week. Now I feel like I'm going to Miami every couple of weeks. So, I know that Toronto is an upcoming tech hub as well. We're starting to see some more growth there. I think the overall message is that technology certainly does not exclusively sit in Silicon Valley anymore. It's in Austin, it's in LA, it's in Miami, it's in Toronto. And the idea is you need to be able to accommodate clients everywhere and be able to sit in different spots. So we're definitely seeing a little bit more of a fragmented landscape in terms of where people are these days.
And I think you've worked out in California, haven't you, earlier in your career? So you've got a good perspective on the East and West Coast. And what do you think about it? Is California in danger of, or San Francisco in danger of alienating, what was once, it was the place for tech, wasn't it? But it feels like, the people are looking for somewhere new to do business, whether it is Texas or whether it is Florida.
Yeah, I think that there will always be opportunities for innovation. I think if companies are exiting the confines of Sand Hill Road, that's okay. That's healthy. I think we've certainly seen over the last few years, with a company like Amazon trying to figure out where its new H2 headquarters are going to be, right? They ended up in Virginia. You're going to see a lot more companies end up in a lot of different areas. We certainly are excited by that. We think that's very positive for just general community growth and not having everything so fixated in a couple of places. So we think that's a good sign for innovation. It certainly democratizes access to talent. The pandemic was already doing that simply because you could work from anywhere. And now that you're really able to do that and identify and inspire innovation from anywhere, it really opens the doors to pulling in the best people, and to creating brands and change that will last.
In New York, I think, it's a very competitive talent market. TikTok seems to be hiring everyone at the moment. You've got Google, you've got Facebook, you've got a bit of Amazon. So it is competitive. What is the sell, if you like, for coming to work for Hirsch Leatherwood? And how are you getting talent, and what sort of people are you looking for?
Yeah, when we went out to start Hirsch Leatherwood, one of the big topics that Evan and I kept going back to, was how much agency lifestyle was typically characterized by burnout. Right, I certainly experienced it. Evan certainly did. I think a few of the people that work for us now have experienced that. And we wanted to create a culture and an agency and a setting where maybe it's realistic to go through your entire day without constant fire drills. Maybe you don't work every single Saturday and Sunday. Hirsch Leatherwood is now my fifth agency. It's the first one where even I'm not working regularly on Saturdays and Sundays. And, in the spirit of keeping employees engaged from a day-to-day basis, I spoke about our generalist model, which has people developing strategy, creating content, placing stories every day. That inherently makes our staff's days more interesting. It's not someone just cranking out blog posts for a company corporate page. It's not someone just pitching every reporter under the sun until there are no more reporters left. We really try to have people play all of those different roles on every team that they're on. That both allows them to become more versatile as an employee, and it allows them to remain engaged and have their day-to-day be pretty routinely different. And that's really where, from a culture standpoint, we think we're differentiating ourselves a bit.
Yeah, I think you make a great point. If you're working 7 days a week, you might be earning good money, but you're at some point you're just like, what am I doing this for? And the lifestyle, and people have self-reflected, haven't they, over the last couple of years on so many things. So I absolutely agree with you. So just to finish up then, what would your advice be to someone? Well, and I was going to say, actually, we had Lou Hoffman from the Hoffman Group on Coffee Break a few weeks ago, and he recognized that because they did a company survey, and they actually reduced the number of accounts that people were working on because they felt that they were having to juggle too many things, which is something you alluded to earlier. So that was interesting as well. Just finally, what would your advice be to someone setting up their own firm and at this time? And you don't seem to have any regrets, so presumably it was you feel it was the right thing to do.
Yeah, the best advice I would have is invest in talent. We really work very hard at recruiting the absolute best and the brightest for Hirsch Leatherwood, and the dividends that has already given. The fact that 18 months in, we're at 20 people, we're sitting here in an office. It definitely validates my belief that investing in talent can go quite a long ways, and certainly when you look at the potential market outlook in the economy, as people are talking about, I think investing in talent will become even more crucial and important for building out a team, building out a culture, and attracting long-term growth.
I don't want to get you to give away your special sauce, but I mean, is there one tip on the talent front that's been particularly good for you, or one sort of technique for getting those great people? How do you go about doing that?
It's not dissimilar from the idea that we spoke about a few minutes ago around creating an environment for people that is just pretty starkly different from a typical agency. When we speak to candidates and we tell them, not that many late nights, not that many weekends. I won't say none, because obviously we have some, but they're hard pressed to believe us at first. And then when they start, they really see, if it turns out that everyone is doing a little bit of everything, and we all are going towards the same common goal. We don't have people stranded on Saturday nights busting out a new business proposal. It really does work. We have found that our talent really responds well to just an environment where they have the ability to go out for a walk in the middle of the day. They can take vacation and know that they won't be bothered. And they also know that they'll be given a groundswell of opportunities to be able to elevate their abilities as a communications professional.
Amen to that. And continued good luck, Steve. Great to find out more about your firm. And thanks for joining us on Coffee Break.
Thanks so much, Steve. Appreciate it.